Hello and welcome to another video done by AfricanLusterSoldier's, and today we will be doing a deck profile of Chaos Dragons.
Just like we promised you. The first rows are boss monsters. It's the simple lineup. The two best chaos monsters. You run the most decks. BLS, Chaos Sorcerer. Well, I think they're the best ones.
The boss monster row continues into two cards of the next row.
Well, this is some extra Chaos Drag support. You can call it boss. I kind of do.
2400 is pretty good, especially because Megalo's out now.
Well, we'll get to that after. And the good hand trap scores and drag. We don't play Veilers or Maxis, as you can see.
It's a turbo variant.
Basically, yeah. And then Red MD, Dark Arm Dragon, two extremely powerful dragons in the deck. They're the Darks and Dragon, obviously.
Good with Wyvern.
Very good with Wyvern. Your only targets for Wyvern. So that's why we only play two.
Wyvern's better with these two now, especially. Ibani and,
Yeah. And then the next one's Pulsar. You play three because he's broken. I don't think I've ever seen someone play two.
He's a lot less good than he used to be because he can only summon one Red MD,
He's 25, which allows you to crash into Xian. It gets over Meglo, whatnot.
At least he can summon Dark Flare, right?
And, pardon me?
At least he can summon Dark Flare, right?
He can summon Dark Flare, he can summon Red MD.
Which is really good.
That's
Him and Red MD are like loop.
That's it. He summons level 5, right? I just want to make sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Well, you couldn't summon this anyway. Because it's no mean. We'll get to that later. The next one's Dark Flare.
He helps you remove things from play.
Dark Flare is actually extremely good. I love his effect. Because what I love doing is I either discard or send from my deck to grave the Wyvern, and I either discard or send from deck to grave the Pulsar. And both of those are extremely good in grave.
Don't forget removing from play. It's a good thing.
It's beautiful. You can get rid of some cards from the grave.
Hornet.
And if you have a Wyvern from before, you can get rid of that. But something I do want to mention, you can't send the Wyvern with his effect and then banish it, because the Wyvern activates activates when he's sent to grave, and then he activates in his own chain, and Dark Flare has to resolve before and then a next chain starts working. So basically, you send him and then you banish him, and then Wyvern, and then you move on to the Wyvern's chain where you banish one. But then since Wyvern's already banished, it's impossible to get that card back. So doing that's just kind of a bad idea.
Next is Wyvern. We talked a lot about Wyvern, so you get the gist. He's really good.
And remember, it's if, so he's if. Well, he's mandatory anyway, so he can't miss time.
It's mandatory and it's if, so
And he's probably the best light type you have in here. You run the other lights because it's an engine, and then because Pulsar's good, and then because this guy's good too.
Well, he's part of his own engine.
Yeah. And then obviously Tour Guide, Sangan. Night Assailant, you probably know this engine. Tour Guide summons either Tour Guide, Sangan, Night Assailant. Sangan has a really obvious and good effect once he's sent to grave, and Night Assailant has a nice effect when he gets flipped, and a nice effect when he gets sent from hand to grave. So
he can add himself.
So if you're facing Dark World and whatnot, well, he's limited, and his effect his effect stops himself from being added.
Wait, really?
So yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's the reason he got limited, so you can't spam him. And then Trooper, he isn't dark, but he mills you 3, and you'll probably get one or the other. So he's
a really good level 3.
He allows consistency.
He lets you get over Rayo.
With Wyvern and whatnot.
Getting over Rayo is pretty hard.
Getting over Rayo is actually pretty hard. And if you crash, he lets you draw. What I play like doing is if they have Rayo, I go Trooper, mill 3, crash, and I do it while I have Dragon or Gorse in hand. So it's beautiful.
Usually when I have Drag or Gorse, I just end. I just let them go in and poke with Drag.
Well, if I have Trooper, I like doing it. And I also make like solar recharge and stuff.
You just need to determine what their back row is and what the position is right now.
And then there's Ivory, Ibani. We did a whole video about this, so you guys should know enough. Basically, they add each other and they banish the opposite attribute to summon.
You can have 3, but the only thing about that is that it might just get cloggy.
We run it because we really do think it gets coggy. And at 17 and 18, he doesn't get over Rayo, he doesn't get over Doom. Well, he doesn't get over anything, basically.
Well, he's good for overlaying, and he adds consistency.
He does add consistency. And he's also the bait for some other cards, like Bottomless and whatnot. And then Lila, Raikou. The best light forms for this deck, basically, There's two others down here we'll talk about later, and you could also play Lumina, but I don't like that.
Well, Lila's like the best bait in the game.
I've seen other people play Lumina. Actually, Raikou is an extremely good bait.
Well, he's a face down though. That's the thing.
Well, the thing is, if they know you're running it, then they'll like half the time they don't even attack. They just
And you said
set up
Trooper.
a field and go.
And you said Trooper. Yeah. Bluff for the win.
I don't touch it. I don't know. I just don't like that. And the staples: Heavy, Dark Hole, Reborn. Then I play one MST because I play triple Lila, and I have everything here basically baits.
There wasn't enough space. We decided to make it a 40 deck because again it's turbo. You're just supposed to OTK.
The only non-turbo card is this.
But that actually helps you get rid of monsters on the field, which again.
Which then technically makes it turbo because it allows for OTKs.
Yeah, but I mean you do have to wait a turn. Also, running Call of the Haunted's an incredibly good idea, but again we're turbo here.
And some of the consistency cards: Allure, Charge, Solar Recharge. You should probably know what they do, but I'll go over it. You draw two, then banish one. If you don't have anything to banish, you discard.
Don't forget it's a dark type he's talking about.
Oh, my bad. I forgot to mention that. You send three, and then you add a Light Swarm to hand. Well, by send three, I mean you send the top three. You discard Light Swarm, draw two, and then mill two.
It's a good card.
Yeah. And Treacherous, you destroy two. It's the only trap you play in the deck, so the part about it cannot being able to activate while you don't have traps in your grave is impossible.
Yeah.
Unless in the future they release some card which gives you traps.
Getting over two is definitely good, especially against like windups or something. You know, it will really stop most plays.
Imagine a card that makes all the cards considered traps and not monsters or spells. But moving on.
Or Uriah deck for the win.
Interesting.
Um.
Okay. Well, we decided to pull out some other cards. Because Yu-Gi-Oh would be a boring game if everyone had the exact same deck. So here's some other cards you can run. Effect Veiler. It's a light. You can if you have like a BLS or something, you could purposely just send it to grave. He's really good. He negates an opponent's effect.
You mean by having 7 cards in your hand and ending? You can't just send them out of your hand because you feel like it. Don't try that, kids.
Having 7 cards in your hand and ending. Wait, what?
Really? You can't just send them from your hand to the graveyard for
Oh yeah. Well, you can do it during your opponent's main phase, as long as they have an effect monster, basically.
But it does make your deck a bit slower, because then he's a card in your hand you're not going to go, like, pop off with.
And then there's Rayo. He's an extremely good first play. He gets over a shit ton of decks.
He's more defensive.
Spellbooks. Basically, in case you don't know, when neither player can add cards from the deck to hand except by drawing. Note that it's from deck to hand, so reincarnation, etc. works. And if you can stop inherit summons by tributing himself, he gets skill drain and whatnot cannot stop that.
Now,
skill drain, fiendish.
And I've never been a fan of Rayo and Chaos Drags. I've always felt like I just want to kind of go off with like Recharge and Sangan stuff instead of just sitting on Rayo.
Well, I never thought I never like disagreed with people when they said they wanted to run 2 or something.
It's a good siding. It might be good depending on your deck.
I'd probably side it. It would be good, like taking out like something out of here for it or something. But it is a really good deck against Geargia, Spellbooks, etc.
Now the next card is Doomcal. I have something to say about Doomcal.
I think Doomcal's bad.
And that's that Doomcal is pretty bad. But in the right scenario, he's also pretty good.
Oh, by the way, sorry for interrupting you.
That's okay. That's okay. I share the opinion that he is bad. However, assuming that you are dueling against Mermaid Atlanteans and they do not have Maxi or Veiler, which I mean, it's not the most unlikely thing.
It's not gonna happen.
It's not the easiest thing to get over.
They'll just go Undyne and then send Dragoons. He negates Undyne, but since Dragoons he negates Undyne, but since Undyne's cost doesn't matter.
That's why Veiler's not good either against them. They're just a hard deck to side against when it comes with this stuff.
They're Mermaid Atlanteans. I don't like them because basically they're one of the hard decks to side against. If your deck's not like macro or Soul Drain plus capabilities.
Now wait, Doomcal kind of sucks, but the thing is though, this deck lost mostly dark types, and he is a pretty good defensive dark type.
And legitimately, the main reason I put him in here is because Draft Pro Winston ran him. And really, if I didn't put him in here, I feel like I was leaving out a big reason why that deck became big.
Again, your deck lost. Oh, when Gerald Pro Winston had him, the deck had the extra dark types.
Lost?
No, his deck. Damn it, I forgot it.
Well, I'll let you regain your thoughts. We can come back to that. The next one's Dark Flare. We do have 2. You can run 3.
Not good.
Same idea as this. It'll become inconsistent. His effect is amazing, but you need the dragons to discard. You only run like 6/9, so 6/9. Okay.
Yeah, Book of Moon's another more
And
defensive
mind
card.
control. Basically, mind control is good if you run Valor because you get a synchro.
But then you need to clog your extra deck with Synchros, and I do not like that.
No, yeah, basically because most of this is needed. I like most of this. And then Book's just a beautiful card in any deck. There's like almost no deck that wouldn't run this. And I mean, I said almost, so don't troll me with like Exodia and Final Countdown. And two other lights ones you can run.
They're okay for siding.
I side one of this. That's kind of it.
Oh, well, maybe two.
This is. I wouldn't.
Against Gary gets a pretty good card, and having one, you're not going to get enough for it to be worth it unless you go recharge.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, not recharge, charge.
Oh well. I'm just gonna go over them quickly. Jane gains 300 when he attacks during the damage step.
You only mill two of those, so he's not as good as the others.
Well, that's debatable. If you play a really turbo deck with a lot of milling and whatnot, then that's not the worst thing ever. But it's okay. He gets over Rayo. That's the best thing about him. And then there's Aaron. The best thing, he shuffles a monster during before damage calculation to the deck. And since it's right before damage calculation, you don't get a replay. Basically the best thing about it, it's against Girgia and against Draco.
Yeah, that is a good thing about him. Also, if a defense position Trag is summoned, you can always Aaron him away.
Did you know Aaron was a female?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah, so a guy summoned a Trag in defense position against me. I was playing a Light Sworn deck, and I summoned Aaron, get over the Trag, and he's like, lol.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That is pretty hilarious. Same with Gores, but you don't want to shuffle Gores back. Then you can use Gores again. That's not good.
Yeah. Well, we run basically the best level threes. I said basically.
No tempo.
No to tempo. I was gonna mention that. Well, that is Leviathan. I don't know what happened
Levier.
there. Levier, Acid Golem, Zenmains. They're all really good. You should probably know them, but I'm going to go over it anyway. This guy, you detach to gain 1. If you have none, you can't attack directly. You detach the specimen level 4 or lower from either player's banished zone. Yeah.
Go summon my own rabbit, yo.
And you can summon it in D, by the way. Acid Golem, you detach to detach or take 2,000 during your standby phase.
You can't special summon while he's face up, so he's not the best in summon.
And while you have no XYZs, you can't attack. Well, basically, you make all your plays, and then you summon the tour guide to make Acid Golem and GG.
Yeah, or you just summon him and pray to God they get over him.
And then another really good first turn play will be tour guide, blah blah, because you have a lot of targets for it. Overlay, Zenmains, and
That's
basically what he does is.
But not in this build. In this build of Chaos Drags, I would not recommend that. That's a too defensive. It's too defensive.
I go tour guide, Sangan, and.
Yeah, but if you're running a more defensive like Rayo and and Valor, then that's an okay play.
It's an okay play overall, anyway. Basically, as long as he's face up, and he will be destroyed, you can detach it. Instead, and end phase, you get to target one on the field and destroy it. Something I'd like to mention is his effect doesn't stack, so if you use it twice, you only get to destroy one anyway. And if he's destroyed, like if you detach 3 in the same turn, you don't get to use his effect because he's not on the field anymore.
Thing about level 3s, you can make Leviathan and summon Red MD. It's a pretty good play to make if you're down on your luck and all you got is a tour guide.
Yeah. And the level 4 is Utopia, C39 Utopia.
Putopia.
I don't know why no one runs C39. I think he's amazing.
Especially because if Utopia gets affected by something, you can always drop C39.
Oh, and if you run Mind Control, you really do want to run C39 Utopia. Because everyone's all like, what should I do? I'll just make a Utopia and end turn. But what are you going to do? You're gonna go Mind Control, C39, and
you can also summon C39 with 3 lights, can't you? Yeah.
That's so not worth it. It's better just to overlay 2 and then put C39 on top of that. The whole reason this even exists is because, one, they kind of had to. Like, they kind of had to give him a reason to exist, other than just the Utopia. And then, 2, this way you can summon him without Utopia in your extra deck, too. And Maestro, this guy is extremely good.
Maestro.
He allows you to get over things with low defense by switching it to face down D, by detaching, and you can detach and not be destroyed, so he's kind of like Zenmains.
Watch out though.
and Gachi.
Most of these extra cards don't do much against Fire Fists.
Fire Fists, man. And then there's Photon Papilla Purative. It flips a face down to a face-up attack position.
Any defense position, isn't it?
Oh. Oh, my bad. Whoopsies. Okay, so it flips any D to face-up attack, and it loses 600.
It can kill Spirit Reaper. Hell yeah. It's light.
Yeah. And then Queen Dragoon Dijin is a dark.
Oh, crazy stuff.
And, okay, I'm going to read this out to you. And basically, Dragon-type monsters you control cannot be destroyed with battle, except for Queen Dragon Dijin. Once per turn, you can detach and one XYZ material from this card to target one level 5 or higher Dragon-type monster in your grave. Special on that target. It cannot attack this turn, its effects are negated. So you summon Pulsar and...
Probably Overlay or some Red MD effect.
Or, no, its effects are negated, bro.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Some Pulsar.
And that effect negating, it is forever. The only thing that can only last after is the attacking part. And another really good card that's level 4 at rank 4 is Black Shape of Corn. It destroys anything with attack, not original attack, equal or less than this, and he inflicts 1,000, but he can't attack the turn you do it. So he's a really fair card. He just became TCG legal, by the way.
Against Spirit Reaper does the same thing as that Photon guy, but against...
And by the way, it is and if you do. And since he doesn't actually destroy it, Spirit Reaper destroys itself on resolution. Spirit Reaper's gone. He didn't destroy it, and you don't deal the 1,000. And then Adrius. Once per turn, can detach one to target one face-up monster, one face-up card your opponent controls, destroy it. This is really good. I don't run Terrace, because Terrace I don't think is actually too good. The reason I like this card is Fire Fists. It's face-up card. What up?
And another thing?
And it is 26, by the way, so I think Adrius is gonna start seeing a lot more play.
So he can also attack the turn he uses his effect. Only downside, you have to be lucky enough to get both your Dark Flares.
And if you do run 3, this is one of the best ideas to put in your extra deck.
And you could also go crazy with Trag if you're that.
And then you run Higher Take Dragon. I run Higher Take Dragon King Autumn. Basically, no one did this before. This is something Steven decided that is good. And I agree, too. It's actually a really good thing to do. It allows you to overlay. If you don't have a Red MD, you can summon it, and then Red MD summons Pulsar. So this way, in case they Dark Hole, you have a backup play.
Just look into it. There's a lot of combos you can do that are a little
bit
bit complicated.
And you do run Gaia, which you can drop on it. He allows for OTKs because of that. He does really interesting things.
Now, one thing I want to mention, that big eye, it probably should be Excavabeetle. That was a mistake.
Oh, well, the only reason... I put this in here because I didn't really have anything else to put in here, and I decided that I can summon it, so it would be funny.
But do remember to make Excavabeetle again with Autumn. You can make it an extra level 6 and Gaia Thunder Charger, but you probably don't want to do that. You probably just want to make Excavabeetle and Thunder Gaia Charger him after he uses his effect.
The next card is Photon Strike Bouncer. Once per turn during either player's turn when a monster effect is activated on your opponent's side of the field, you can detach one, and you detach one, you negate it, and then you inflict 1,000.
Too bad you can't inflict 1,000 off your own effect and go for a game like that, kind of like Caius.
And by the way, guys, it doesn't destroy it, just saying.
Also, he's good for OTK. If you're going to pull an OTK out...
Because nothing works against it.
And he deals 1,000 too, so...
No Gores, no Trag, no Battle Fader, no Raikou. I'm sorry, I have bad memories of this guy and Raikou.
Does he stop Raikou? He stops... Oh, yeah.
He stops Raikou.
Yeah. Even though it's damage type, he stops it.
It's because he's negating effect, yeah. And...
Again, that should be Excavabeetle or any other XYZ.
But if you do want to run this because you're high like me, what he does is you can detach one to take any monster your opponent controls. And it is not until the end phase. Like Blackwing Gale, he's permanent.
It is possible to summon him, however, not a good idea.
Okay, well, guys, this is one of the reasons I don't like DN. It was really obvious you were doing something. Because I was moving the cruiser and I was looking through different cards.
Yeah, this wouldn't happen
on
whatever.
Death Row. The only other card there was Gaia. Basically, Gaia takes 2 level 7s, if I remember correctly. But you can also just drop him on a level 5 or a rank 5 or a rank 6 XYZ, and he deals piercing damage.
Anyway, I hope you like the deck.
And by the way, the best thing about Gaia is the autumn play, yeah. if you do want to see our Chaos Sharks deck, just rewind a little bit back. And
In fact, you don't even want to hear us talk. Just click on the video and copy the deck.
okay. Well, I'll see you guys later, and stay tuned for a few other duels and possibly the deck profiles we'll have coming up soon.
Goodbye.